Good morning, sweet ladies. Thank you for joining us in Far Above Rubies today. I'm so very glad that each of you are here. Today we are looking at Isaiah chapter 41, and we're going to take a quick look at verse 9. This verse says, "For I have chosen you, and I will not throw you away. For I have chosen you, and I will not throw you away." God is not in the habit of throwing people away, of throwing souls away. And sometimes we can come to believe that that is God's perspective. We live in a society that often treats people as disposable, that often treats people as if you don't offer me a particular value that I'm looking for, then I have no need of you and I can toss you aside. We see it with the rate of divorce in this country. If you no longer make me happy, if you no longer please me, if I am no longer just over the moon in love with you, I can throw you away, cast you to the side, and forget that I ever found value in you. But that is not how God works. That's not how God works with people. It's not how God deals with his children. We can forget that we are his children and he is a good father. I have chosen you and I will not throw you away. My mind goes to the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15, where he's sitting in a pig pen covered in mud and questioning whether or not he should eat the slop, the blah food that has been thrown out from the home into a pig trough. And he's so hungry and destitute in this moment, he's wondering if he should eat that slop. He has forgotten his worth. He has forgotten who he is. He has forgotten who he is loved by, and that there is a father waiting on him to return. When the prodigal son went looking back for his father, thinking, I'll just be a servant in his house. I know I no longer have the right to be a son, but I'll just be a servant. I'll just serve in his home because even the servants are treated better and are living better in my father's house than I'm living right now. And he goes back to his father with this image in his mind that he is not worthy to be loved by his father, but that he knows that his father is magnanimous and will at least provide food and shelter for him. He has forgotten. He has forgotten who he was. He has forgotten his worth. He has forgotten that his father didn't throw him away. He has forgotten that his father didn't send him away. He has forgotten that it was his choice to walk away. And he feels like he is no longer valuable to the father. But see, right here we see a picture of love. Right here we see a picture of grace. We see a picture of God and his unfailing mercy saying, but I have chosen you. God doesn't unchoose you. I know that's not a word. God doesn't take back his choosing you. He chose you. He didn't take it back. He's not going to throw you away. We can forget our value. We can forget our worth. We can think, I have sinned and I have gone too far and I can't possibly be worthy of my Father's love anymore. And we forget God made us. We forget that God formed us. We're not just some side thought to God. We're not some afterthought to God. We're not sitting over here begging for crumbs from the master's table. We are his children. Jeremiah 1:5 said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. That's what God said. Before I formed you, I knew you. I chose you, is what God is saying. Psalm 139:13 says, talking to God, he says, you knit me together in my mother's womb. God, you knit me together. You put me together in my mother's womb. God, you chose me. You created me. You gave me worth. You gave me value, God. You chose me, and you're not going to throw me away. We live in a very harsh world. We live in a very harsh world that would try to convince you, tries to convince women on a daily basis that they are of little value, that they have very little worth, and that they have to do all of these things, jump through all of these hoops, and make themselves become something that is valuable. They set this standard that is so high and unattainable that most women believe that their worth is about this much, when the God who created the universe chose you. The God who created the heavens and the earth, the God who created every star and knows them by name, the God who created every mountain and every stream, the God who created everything that we see and hear and touch and smell and taste, created you, and he loves you. He chose you. He chose to make you. He chose to call you. He chose to reach from across through time to right now for you. He chose you. And he won't throw you away. He won't throw you away. There's no sin that can keep you from God's love. If you've walked away from God, God didn't send you packing. It was your choice. And you can just as readily and easily point your heart in God's direction and start marching back towards him, because he's waiting. He's waiting. You don't have to earn his love. You don't have to re-earn his love, because you didn't earn it in the first place. It was freely given, and it is still freely given. I'm a little long today, but this is for someone. There's a lot of women in this group, and I know that so many of us can forget our worth on a regular basis. We can forget our value, and we can begin to believe the lies of the world around us that tell us we are not valuable, or that we have to make ourselves into something we're not in order to try to attain some worldly concept of value and worth. God created you. He knew you before he created you. He knit you together in your mother's womb. He chose you, and it doesn't matter what you have done or how far you have gone. He will not throw you away. I'll stop there. I pray you will go and read Isaiah chapter 41, and I pray that you are reminded today of your value. If no one's told you lately, you are loved, and you are cherished, and you are valuable. And the Father is waiting, and he's watching for that moment that you take a step back in his direction. You don't have to earn his love. You are valuable in and of yourself because he created you. He chose you. You have beautiful, tremendous worth, my sweet friend, and that worth is far above rubies. That worth was worth the price of robing himself in flesh and taking a beating and hanging on a cross and dying the cruelest death, because you were worth it. You were worth it. Your worth is far above rubies, my friend. Thank you for being here with me today. You've got 2 wonderful guest speakers coming to you the next 2 days. Make sure that you tune in. Let them know that you're here and that you appreciate their time. God bless you. And I will see you all again on Sunday. Love you. Bye-bye.